Hello students, welcome back. I hope you people are learning well through the videos and the online classes. Well, in this module we are going to learn about our next chapter, that is force and friction. So let's not waste more of our time and start learning about it.
Introduction. What is force? What happens when a force is applied to an object? While pushing, pulling, lifting or hitting anything, we are actually changing the motion of an object. This change in motion requires force. So we can say that a push or a pull on an object resulting in its motion is called a force. Objectives. At the end of this lesson, you'll be able to define force, list the properties of force, understand the effects of force, distinguish contact and non-contact forces, list types of contact and non-contact forces, what happens when force interact. If you choose a heavy box and try to push it, the box will not move. Now if you ask a friend to help in pushing it in the same direction, it moves. This experiment proves that the forces are acting in the same direction add up. Effects of force. Consider a thin rubber balloon and blow air into it, the shape changes. Then tie its open end with a thread. Now press the air-filled balloon, you will see again the shape changes. This is due to effect of force. When you play football, the football is kept in the center of the field. When you kick it, it moves towards the given direction. Similarly, in the kitchen, your mother makes balls from dough and rolls them into chapatis. In this case, she is applying force to make them flat. Effects of force. One can change the direction of the object by applying suitable force on it. For example, in cricket, the speed of the ball hit by a batsman reduces to 0 when the fielder catches it. Also, if you kick a moving football, the speed of the football increases. Kinds of force. There are two major types of forces: contact forces and non-contact forces. Examples of contact forces are muscular force, force of friction, etc. Similarly, example of non-contact forces are magnetic force, gravitational force, etc. Contact forces. Can you push or lift a book lying on the table without touching it? Or can you lift a bucket of water without holding it? In both the cases, the answer is no. Generally, to apply a force on an object, our body needs to be in contact with the object. So we can say that contact forces are the forces which act on bodies when they are in actual contact. Basically, these are of two types: muscular force and force of friction. Muscular force. When we push an object such as a box or lift a bucket of water, then the force is caused by the action of muscles in our body. This force is known as muscular force. Note that muscular force is always applied either directly through touch or indirectly with the help of a stick or piece of rope. For examples, cutting the vegetable or fruits with the help of knife, hammering of nail with the help of hammer, pulling a cart by horse. Force of friction. Do you know why a heavy box on pushing does not move? Why a rolling ball stops after some time? When an object moves in contact with another object, a force known as friction comes into play. Note that the force of friction always acts on all objects and its direction is always opposite to the direction of motion. The moving object in the animation gradually slows down and ultimately stops due to the force of friction. This shows that force of friction always opposes the motion of one body over another body in contact. Types of non-contact forces. The types of non-contact forces are gravitational force, magnetic force, and electrostatic force. Do you know why the leaves of fruits fall to the ground when they're detached from the plant? This is because of gravitational force. The force due to Earth's attraction is called the gravitational force. This is an example of non-contact force. Now the force between two magnetic poles placed at a suitable distance is called the magnetic force, in which like poles repel while the unlike poles attract each other. A magnet can exert a force on another magnet without being in contact with it. So, the force exerted by a magnet is also an example of non-contact force. Do you know, when we rub a tube through dry cloth and bring it near the thread is attracted towards the tube. This is because on rubbing the tube through the dry cloth, an electrical charge is generated on the tube. This is called the electrostatic charge. This is also an example of non-contact force.
Wow, that was an interesting way to learn more about forces and to understand the different types of forces. Well, students, will be back in our next module with